15 Common Errors in Spoken English from EspressoEnglish.net. Number 1. Everybody are happy. Words like everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody are actually singular, not plural. Even though everybody refers to a lot of people, it takes the singular verb, so the correct sentence is everybody is happy. Number 2. I'll explain you the problem. In this sentence, there are two objects, the direct object, the problem, and the indirect object, you. After explain, we need to use to before the indirect object, the person to whom we are doing the explaining. Also, it's more common to put the direct object first, so the correct sentence is, I'll explain the problem to you. Number 3. I have the possibility to study in Canada next year. With the word have, we use opportunity, not possibility, so the correct sentence is, I have the opportunity to study in Canada next year. The word possibility is more used with there is. For example, there's a possibility I may study in Canada next year. Number 4. I think she doesn't like tomatoes. Although there's no specific grammar rule here, it's more common to say, I don't think she likes tomatoes. Number 5. If I will see John later, I'll give him the message. Although both events, seeing John and giving him the message, are technically in the future, this sentence should be in the first conditional form. If I see John later, I'll give him the message. In the first conditional, we have two parts of the sentence, the condition and the result. Although both are in the future, we use the present form of the verb with if, and then will and won't with the verb in the result. Number 6. Do you want that I make breakfast? The word that is not typically used after want. The correct sentence is, do you want me to make breakfast? Number 7. I'm thinking to buy a new car. When you are considering doing something in the future, we don't use the word to after think. So the correct sentence would be, I'm thinking of buying a new car, or I'm thinking about buying a new car. We use the word of or about with the ing form of the verb. Number 8. They enjoyed the baseball game despite of the rain. Despite and in spite of mean the same thing, but after despite we never use of. The correct sentence would be, they enjoyed the baseball game despite the rain, or they enjoyed the baseball game in spite of the rain. Number 9. My 10-year-old daughter loves to dance. When the age comes after the word is, then you say years old. For example, my daughter is 10 years old. But when the age comes before the person or object as an adjective, then you say year, not years. My 10-year-old daughter loves to dance. Number 10. Our house is near to the beach. Near and close to mean the same thing, but the word to is never used after near. The correct sentence is, our house is near the beach, or our house is close to the beach. Number 11. I like very much soccer. We don't normally put very much between a verb, like, and its object, soccer. The correct sentence would be, I like soccer very much. However, in spoken English, it would probably be more common to say, I like soccer a lot, or I really like soccer. Number 12. Gary gave to Joan the keys. The verb give has two objects, the indirect object, Joan, and the direct object, the keys. We can say this sentence correctly in two ways. Gary gave Joan the keys, or Gary gave the keys to Joan. Number 13. She asked me, where do I work? This is one of the most difficult parts of English, reported speech. In reported questions, we do not use the auxiliary verbs do, does, or did, so the correct sentence is, she asked me where I work. Number 14. They left without say goodbye. When you use a verb after conjunctions and prepositions like after, before, since, when, while, without, instead of, and in spite of, the verb is generally in the ing form. So the correct sentence is, they left without saying goodbye. Number 15. I need to finish this project until Friday. We use until to talk about a continuous situation that will continue up to a certain moment. For example, I'm staying in the city until June. Staying is a continuous action. Use the word by to talk about a single action or event that will happen before a future moment. By is often used with deadlines, so the correct sentence is, I need to finish this project by Friday. For more detailed explanations about the most common English errors, get the book 100 Common Errors in English, available at espressoenglish.net. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. How to fix 10 common errors in English from espressoenglish.net. Number 1. It is very important to practice English. The correct sentence is, it is very important to practice English. In this structure, when a verb is used after an adjective, the verb is in the to infinitive. For example, it's better to apologize. It's great to see you. It's difficult to find a parking spot. Number 2. I want to take part of the event. That's not correct. The correct sentence is, I want to take part in the event. The expression take part in is an informal way to say participate in. The expression part of means a piece of or some of. For example, part of this apple is rotten. I'm glad to be part of the team. Number 3. Don't say, these are my favorite shoes. The correct sentence is, these are my favorite shoes. Adjectives are always singular in English, even if the noun is plural. For example, our house has 3 small rooms. The forest is filled with giant trees. I have a couple of friendly dogs. Number 4A. She takes always a long time to finish. The correct sentence is, she always takes a long time to finish. The word always comes before the main verb. Here are more examples. We always take the bus to school. I always forget to close the window. You always think you're right. Number 4B. He always is late. That's not correct. The correct sentence is, he is always late,
or he's always late. The only exception to the rule about always coming before the main verb is when the verb is a form of to be. In this case, always comes after to be. For example, we're always tired at the end of the day. I was always the top student in my class. In the future, the word always comes in the middle, will always be. For example, she will always be my best friend. These heroes will always be remembered. Number 5. I couldn't attend to the class yesterday. The correct sentence is, I couldn't attend the class yesterday. When you are present in a place, use the verb attend without to. For example, attend a meeting, attend a conference, and attend a seminar. Attend to means something different. It means to deal with some business or take care of something. For example, I have to attend to some important matters. Paramedics attended to the victims of the accident. Number 6. We arrived to the airport at 3 o'clock. The correct sentence is, we arrived at the airport at 3 o'clock. We use go to and get to, but we arrive at a place and arrive in a city or country. For example, you can say, we got to the party just as it was starting. Got to is an informal way to say arrived at. We arrived at the party just as it was starting. If we take the express train, we'll get to Berlin in an hour. Or, if we take the express train, we'll arrive in Berlin in an hour. But don't say arrive to. It's not correct. Also, remember that the word home doesn't take any prepositions. For example, we arrived home early. We got home early. And let's go home. You don't need to say go to home. Just say go home. Number 7. The accident caused a lot of damages to the car. The correct sentence is, the accident caused a lot of damage to the car. Damage is considered an uncountable noun and is always singular. The word damage means harm or problems to an object or property. The noun damages means something different. This word refers to the money awarded by the court to compensate for the damage. For example, if a faulty microwave explodes and causes damage to your house, the manufacturer of the microwave might have to pay damages to you so that you can repair your house. Number 8. My apartment is 10 miles far from here. The correct sentence is, my apartment is 10 miles away from here. You can also say, my apartment is 10 miles from here, without using away. It's confusing because the question asks how far, but we don't use far in the answer. For example, how far is the nearest gas station? It's about 2 blocks away. How far is the museum from here? At least 5 miles. You should probably take the bus. You can only use far in the answer when you are not giving a specific distance. You're just giving a general answer. For example, if someone says, how far is the nearest gas station, you could say, it's not far, meaning it's a short distance away. Or, it's pretty far, quite far, or very far, meaning it's a long distance away. Number 9. The boss requested me to send the information. The correct sentences are, the boss asked me to send the information. That's less formal. Or, the boss requested that I send the information. That's more formal. After the verb ask, we always use a person. For example, they're asking him for answers. She asked me for a drink. He asked us to take his picture. I'm asking them to stop. The word request is a more formal word for ask for. We do not use a person immediately after request. For example, they're requesting answers. She requested a drink. When someone requests an object, we use request plus the object. She requested a drink. And when you ask that somebody do something, then we use request that. For example, he requested that we take his picture. I'm requesting that they stop. Number 10. On next Friday, we're going to Paris. The correct sentence is, next Friday, we're going to Paris. When using next, last, and this, you don't need to use a preposition like on, in, or at. For example, let's get together this Saturday. I went to Russia last July. We're going hiking next weekend. You don't need to say in last July or on next weekend. Simply last July and next weekend are fine. Would you like to get corrections on your written English? In the Advanced English Grammar course, each lesson includes a writing task where you can send me your text and I'll send you feedback. This course will help you master the details of English and take your English from good to great.
Correct your English errors fast. Today, we're going to talk about common errors that students make when speaking English. But first, I want to say one thing. Don't let the fear of errors stop you from speaking English. Remember, it's more important to communicate and practice your speaking, even if it's not perfect. However, one of the fastest ways to correct your English errors is to focus on avoiding the most common mistakes, which are made by English learners from many countries and at various levels. I'll teach you 5 in this lesson. Number 1. The difference between haven't and don't have. I haven't a car is incorrect. The correct sentence is, I don't have a car. When have is the main verb, meaning possession, we use don't have and doesn't have. For example, I don't have any sisters. Bob doesn't have a dog. When have is the auxiliary verb, like in the present perfect, then we use haven't and hasn't. For example, I haven't finished my work yet. Jane hasn't taken the test. Number 2. Everybody like or likes. Everybody like the teacher is incorrect. The correct sentence is, everybody likes the teacher. The words everybody, anybody, somebody, and nobody all take the singular form of the verb. Everybody refers to many people, but it considers them as a group. Other words that refer to many people but take the singular form of the verb include team, club, staff, family, police, and class. Number 3. Indirect and direct objects. Gary gave to Joan the keys is incorrect. The correct sentence is, Gary gave the keys to Joan, or Gary gave Joan the keys. Let's look at the parts of this sentence. Gary is the subject, gave is the verb, the keys are the direct object, and Joan is the indirect object. In English, we can form the correct sentence in 2 ways. The indirect object often comes immediately after the verb. Subject, verb, indirect object, direct object. Gary gave Joan the keys. You can also put the direct object first and add to before the indirect object. Gary gave the keys to Joan. However, you can't put the indirect object first and use to. Number 4. Prepositions and verbs. They left without say goodbye is incorrect. The correct sentence is, they left without saying goodbye. Verbs immediately following prepositions like before, after, since, when, while, despite, without, and for always take the ing form. Here are some examples. After graduating from college, she started working full-time. This course is great for improving your English. Number 5. Reported questions. He asked me, "Where do I live?" is incorrect. The correct sentence is, he asked me where I live. This sentence is an example of a reported question. We are talking about a question someone asked in the past. In reported questions, don't use the auxiliary verbs do, does, or did. Here's another example. They asked me, "What did I think?" is incorrect. The correct sentence is, they asked me what I thought. In my years of experience as an English teacher, I've heard many of the same errors very frequently. So I wrote a book to help students correct them. 100 Common Errors in English. It teaches you the errors and the explanations. You can buy the book for $15 on espressoenglish.net. You'll find it very helpful in correcting your English errors. If you want to see a free sample of the book before you buy it, you can download one by clicking the link under this video. When is the word ain't used in English? From espressoenglish.net. Ain't is an extremely informal, some people would say incorrect, word for isn't, am not, or aren't. You might hear the word ain't in movies or in songs like "This Ain't a Love Song" by Bon Jovi. That means this isn't a love song. Ain't can even mean there isn't or there aren't. For example, in the song lyric, "Ain't no sunshine when she's gone," it means there isn't any sunshine when she's gone. Here's an example from informal spoken English. Imagine you have a friend who is hoping to get back together with her ex-boyfriend, but you very much doubt this will happen. You could say, "That ain't gonna happen," which means that isn't going to happen. Ain't should only be used in very informal situations, and most people don't use it too frequently because it can make you appear uneducated. Never use the word ain't in academic or professional situations. It's not appropriate. But now, when you hear the word ain't in movies and songs, you'll know that it means isn't, am not, or aren't. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. What's the difference between can, could, and able to? From espressoenglish.net. In the present, can and able to are the same. If your boss asks you to take a new project, you could say, "Yes, I can take on this project," or "Yes, I'm able to take on this project." The negative forms are can't and not able to. For example, "No, I can't take on this project." "No, I'm not able to take on this project." The past forms are could and couldn't, and was or were able to, or wasn't or weren't able to. For example, "I wasn't able to finish all my homework yesterday." "I couldn't finish all my homework yesterday." Don't say, "didn't can." That doesn't exist, and it's a common error in English. In the negative form, we can use either one, But in the positive form, we typically use was able to. For example, I was able to leave work early yesterday. In the future, there is only one option, will or won't be able to. For example, I'll be able to work on this project tomorrow. Sorry, I won't be able to go to the party on Thursday. Don't say will can. This doesn't exist, and it's another common error. When you're asking someone to do something, use can or could. Could is a little bit more formal. For example, can you bring me a glass of water? Could you bring me a glass of water? When asking about someone's abilities, you can use either can or able to. For example, can you run a mile in under 10 minutes? Are you able to run a mile in under 10 minutes? Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. What's the real difference between and among? From espressoenglish.net. It is often taught that between is used for 2 items and among is used for 3 items or more, but this is not completely correct. The real difference is that between is used when naming distinct individual items, which can be 2, 3, or more items. And among is used when the items are part of a group or are not named specifically. To use among, there must be 3 or more items. Here's an example. Let's say you're going shopping. You could say, I'm trying to decide between the green shirt, the blue shirt, and the black shirt. You can use between with 3 items, as long as you name them specifically. Or you could say, I'm trying to decide among these shirts. In this case, we're treating the 3 shirts as a group. We don't name them specifically, so we use the word among. Here's another example. The negotiations between Brazil, Chile, and Argentina are going well. Again, we can use between with 3 items because they are specifically named. The negotiations among the countries of South America are going well. These 2 sentences are not equal, of course, because there are more countries in South America than only Brazil, Chile, and Argentina. But in the second case, we treat all the countries as a group. We don't say which countries specifically, so we use the word among. Another common question is which one is correct, between you and I or between you and me. This is a mistake that many native English speakers make. The correct phrase is between you and me. Use the phrase between you and me when you want the other person to keep some information secret. For example, if you're talking about an ex-coworker, you could say, between you and me, I think John got fired because he's completely incompetent. The phrase between you and me means you want the other person to keep your opinion a secret and not tell other people. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. Do or make 60 common expressions from espressoenglish.net. First, let's review the basic difference between do and make. Use do for actions, obligations, and repetitive tasks. Use make for creating, producing, and voluntary tasks that you choose to do. Expressions with do. Housework. Do the housework. Do the laundry. Do the dishes. Do the shopping. One exception is make the bed. Use do with work and study. Do work. Do homework. Do business. Do a good, great, or terrible job. Do a report. That's an informal way to say write a report. Do a course. That's an informal way to say take a course. One exception is take a test, not do a test. Use do in expressions for taking care of your body. For example, do exercise. Do your hair. That means to style your hair. Do your nails. That's an informal way to say paint your nails. One exception is take a shower or bath. Finally, use do for general actions. For example, do anything, do something, do everything, do nothing, do well, do badly, do good, do the right thing, do your best. Expressions with make. Use make for preparing food. Make breakfast. Make lunch. Make dinner. Make a sandwich. Make a salad. Make a cup of tea. Make a cup of coffee. And make a reservation at a restaurant. Use make in expressions regarding money. Make money. Make a profit. Make a fortune. A fortune is a lot of money. Make $100. That means earn $100. Make is also used in expressions with relationships. Make friends. Make love. That means have sex. Make a pass at someone. That means to flirt with the person. Make fun of someone. That means to tease or mock the person. Make up. That means to resolve a problem in the relationship. Make is used in expressions with communication. For example, make a phone call, make a joke, make a point, make a bet, make a complaint, make a confession, make a speech, make a suggestion, make a prediction, make an excuse, make a promise, make a fuss, make an observation, make a comment. Two exceptions are have a conversation and ask a question, not make a question. Use make in expressions with plans and progress. Make plans. Make progress. Make a decision. Make a choice. Make a mistake. Make an attempt. Make an effort. Make up your mind. That means to decide. Make a discovery. Make a list. Make sure. That means confirm. Make a difference. Make an exception. Read the example sentences under this video to see these expressions in use. Also, try to write one example sentence of your own using each expression. This helps you remember and practice. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. Confusing words in English, just and only, from espressoenglish.net. The word just has two definitions. One is very recently. For example, I just washed the floor and it's still wet. In this case, the word just means I washed the floor just a few minutes ago. Here's another example. Is Dana in? No, sorry, she just left for lunch. Again, in this case, just means very recently. The second definition of just is the same as only. For example, I have just one brother is the same as I have only one brother. Here's another example. He ate just half a sandwich equals he ate only half a sandwich. So, how do you know when just means very recently and when just means only? Here's one tip. Just plus noun is the same as only plus noun. Just 2 students passed the test. Only 2 students passed the test. Students is a noun, so these 2 sentences are the same. However, just plus a verb is not equal to only plus a verb. The sentence, I just washed the floor, means I washed the floor recently. The sentence, I only washed the floor, means I washed the floor, but I didn't wash the table or anything else. When using just, the word order is important. For example, I just ate 2 pieces of pizza means I ate the pizza recently. But if we change the word order and say, I ate just 2 pieces of pizza, then this means I ate only 2 pieces and not 3 or 4. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. Difference between how about and what about from espressoenglish.net. How about and what about are very similar, but there is a small difference in the way they are usually used in everyday spoken English. Use how about to make suggestions and open possibilities. For example, imagine this conversation. I have the day off from work tomorrow. What should we do? How about spending the day in the city? Nah, I don't feel like traveling. Okay, then how about cleaning the house? No way, I want to do something fun. How about doing some shopping and then seeing a movie? In this dialogue, the phrase how about is used to make 3 different suggestions. How about spending the day in the city? How about cleaning the house? How about doing some shopping? Use what about to mention an objection or potential problem. Here's another example dialogue. Let's go camping this weekend. But what about my guitar lesson on Saturday? Just call the teacher and reschedule it. And what about the English test on Monday? I haven't studied yet. You can study on Sunday night when we get back. Okay, but what about the weather? Isn't it going to be rather cold? In this dialogue, what about is used to introduce 3 potential problems. What about my guitar lesson? What about the English test? What about the weather? There is one case when how about and what about are the same. When you ask, how about you? Or what about you? This is used to ask the same question to the other person. For example, if your friend calls you and says, "What are you doing?" you say, "Just relaxing and watching some TV. How about you?" If someone you meet asks, "Where do you work?" you can say, "At the local university. What about you?" Again, how about you and what about you are used to ask the same question to the other person. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. Prepositions in English. Difference between to and for. The prepositions to and for are very easy to confuse. Here are some rules. Use to for destination. We're going to Paris. Use to say what time it is when you're talking about minutes before the hour. It's 2:45. That means it's 2:45. Use to when talking about distance. It's about 10 miles from my house to the university. You can also use to for comparing. I prefer sleeping to working. Use to when talking about giving. I gave the book to my sister. Use to when talking about a motive or reason with a verb. For example, I came here to see you. Use for in the case of benefits. Yogurt is good for your digestion. Use for when talking about a period of time. We've lived here for 2 years. You can also use for when talking about scheduling. I made an appointment for Monday. For also means you agree with something or you are in favor of it. For example, are you for or against the development of nuclear weapons? Use for when doing something to help someone. Could you carry these books for me? Finally, use for in the case of a motive or a reason with a noun. Let's go out for a drink. Here's a good example of the difference in when to use to and for with a motive or reason. When it's with a verb, use to. I came to New York to work. Work is a verb. When it's with a noun, use for. I came to New York for a new job. Because job is a noun. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. Confusing words in English. Wish and hope. The word wish is used for hypothetical or imagined situations, when you want something in the present or past to be different. When you are wishing a present situation was different, use wish plus the simple past. For example, I live near the beach, but I wish I lived near the mountains. I'm very busy. I wish I didn't have to work so much. Both of these are present situations that we wish were different. When you are wishing a past situation was different, use wish and the past perfect. For example, I didn't go to college. I wish I had gone when I had the chance. I had a fight with my friend. I wish I hadn't said she was stupid. Both of these situations are in the past, and we are wishing they were different. The word hope is used when you want a specific result and there is or was a real possibility of getting that result. If you're hoping for a result in the future, use hope plus the present tense, or hope plus will. I bought my girlfriend a present. I hope she likes it. Or, I hope she'll like it. These sentences are equal. You can use the present tense or will. Here's another example. The festival is next Saturday. I hope it doesn't rain. Or, I hope it won't rain. Won't is the negative form of will. You can also use the word hope in the past continuous or past perfect when you wanted a result, but that result didn't happen. For example, I was hoping my girlfriend would like the present I bought, but she hated it. You can also say, I had hoped my girlfriend would like the present I bought, but she hated it. You can also use the past perfect continuous. I had been hoping. All three of these sentences are equal. Let's review. Use wish when you are imagining that a situation is or was different. Use hope when there is or was a real possibility of getting the result you want. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. Common English collocations with the words big, great, large, deep, strong, and heavy. In English, a collocation is two or more words that go together naturally. Learning collocations is essential for making your English sound fluent and natural. Here are 50 common English collocations with the words big, great, large, deep, strong, and heavy. The word big is often used in collocations with a happening or event. For example, a big accomplishment, a big decision, a big disappointment, a big failure, a big improvement, a big mistake, a big surprise. The word great is often used in collocations with feelings or qualities. Great admiration, great anger, great enjoyment, great excitement, great fun, great happiness, great joy, in great detail, great power, great pride, great sensitivity, great skill, great strength, great understanding, great wisdom, great wealth. The word large is often used in collocations involving numbers and measurements. A large amount, a large collection, a large number of, a large population, a large proportion, a large quantity, a large scale. The word strong is often used in collocations with facts and opinions. A strong argument, strong emphasis, strong evidence, a strong contrast, a strong commitment, strong criticism, strong denial, a strong feeling, a strong opinion, strong resistance. Strong is also used with the senses of smell and taste. The word deep is used for some strong feelings, like deep depression and deep devotion. It is also used in the expressions in deep thought and in deep trouble, as well as in a deep sleep. That means when the person won't wake up easily. The word heavy is used for some weather conditions. Heavy rain, heavy snow, heavy fog. Heavy is also used for people with bad habits. A heavy drinker, a heavy smoker, a heavy drug user. There's also the expression a heavy sleeper. That's not someone who sleeps a lot. Instead, it's a person who doesn't wake up easily when sleeping. The word heavy is also used in collocations with two unpleasant things, traffic and taxes. Are you ready to test your knowledge of these English collocations? Try the English collocations quiz at the bottom of this page. Thanks for watching English Tips from Espresso English. If you liked this video, please share it. Confusing words in English. Difference between travel, trip, and journey. From espressoenglish.net. The word trip, as a noun, means the act of going to another place, often for a short time, and returning. For example, we took a 5-day trip to Italy. I'm going on a business trip soon. Use the verbs take and go on with the word trip. Also, a round-trip ticket is when you go and return, and a one-way ticket is when you only go. The word travel is usually a verb. It means going to another place in general. For example, I really like to travel. He travels frequently for work. My sister is currently traveling through South America. One common error students make is saying, "How was your travel?" This is not correct. The correct sentence is, "How was your trip?" Another example is, I'm planning a travel to the U.S. The correct sentence would be, I'm planning to travel to the U.S. or I'm planning a trip to the U.S. The word journey means one part of the travel process, often a long distance. For example, the journey takes 12 hours by car. He made the 200-mile journey by bike. The word journey can also be used in a metaphorical way to talk about progress in life. For example, my uncle is an alcoholic, but he's beginning the journey of recovery. She has overcome many problems on her spiritual journey. Thanks for watching English Tips from espressoenglish.net. If you liked this video, please share it. Difference between job, work, and career from espressoenglish.net. A job is a regular and official activity that you do and receive money, a salary. It is also called a profession or an occupation. You can have a full-time job, 40 hours per week, or a part-time job, around 25 hours per week. When someone is looking for a job, this is sometimes called the job hunt or job search. If you have a friend who's looking for a job, you can ask them, "How's the job hunt going?" To find a job, you can check the job listings online or in the newspaper. These are small advertisements about job openings, job opportunities. The process of trying to get a specific job when you send your resume or CV to a company is called applying for a job. If the company offers you the job and you say yes, then you have gotten the job. To describe a person's job, you can say it is a demanding job. That means it requires a lot of effort. A fulfilling or rewarding job. That means it makes you feel good. An entry-level job is a job that can be done by someone who is just beginning their career. It doesn't require much experience or many skills. A dead-end job is a job that has no opportunities for advancement or promotions. A high-powered job is a dynamic and important job, and a lucrative job is a job where you earn a lot of money. The word job is a countable noun. For example, Terry has had 7 jobs in the past 5 years. Work. The word work is more general than job. Job is a specific occupation or profession, but work refers to general efforts and activities done to accomplish a goal. Work can be done both inside an official job and outside a job. You can say you work at or for a company. For example, I work at Espresso English. You can say you're working on a project or a task. For example, I'm working on a market analysis, or I'm working on improving customer satisfaction. You can say you work with people or objects. I work with special needs children, or I work with hazardous chemicals. Here are some other collocations with the word work. We say, I start work at 7 a.m., not I start my job at 7 a.m. And at the end of the day, I finish work or leave work at 4:30. An informal way to say leave work is get off work. I get off work at 4:30. We also say go to work. We go to work by car. I went to the bar with some friends from work. I can't access Facebook while I'm at work. Again, we say at work and not at my job. Work is an uncountable noun, so it cannot be plural. I have 3 works to do this week is incorrect. The correct sentence is I have 3 projects or 3 things or 3 tasks to do this week. Career. Your career is the total progression of your professional life. It can include many different jobs over the years. You can have a career in a field, for example, a career in politics, journalism, teaching, or finance. Here are a few more collocations with career. To embark on a career means to begin your career. To pursue a career means to make an effort to have a particular career. A promising career is a career with good future potential. And a varied career is a career with jobs in many different areas. You can talk about career prospects. That means career opportunities. If you switch your career, that means you change it. If your career takes off, that means it starts to become very successful. If you're at the height or at the peak of your career, that means you're at the most successful point in your career. Finally, if something ruins your career, it destroys your career. Now take the quiz at the bottom of this lesson. And to learn practical English that you can use in your job and career, take the Business English course at espressoenglish.net.